Hey guys, mulltiy here. Today I want to make with you a very early prediction for the next phase of Cataclysm Classic. This phase 4 with the Dragon Soul raid where you beat Deathwing at the end of the day. So today I want to talk with you about my prediction for this phase, this upcoming phase. It's coming in January. I think there is no date set at this moment, so it could happen kind of at any time in January. Definitely not in the first week. I would say like more at the later half of January, so I would say minimum 3 or 4 weeks till Cataclysm phase 4 is coming up. On the left side you can see here the data that is right now from the last 2 weeks. Here one time on Warcraft logs, the other time on archon.gg. That was my prediction from phase 3, as you can see here. And we hop now over and make the prediction for the next phase. We will go over here one by one, and I will try to rank them as good as I can. Let's start with Frost Decay. I think Frost Decay at the moment is kind of decent and will stay decent. I also had it here in A tier. Maybe that was a little bit too high. I would put him on the top of the B tier. But let's see later on if we make here any changes in the tier. You know, it's always hard to say where is exactly the step where you go into the A tier, where into the B tier. But let's start like this. Unholy Decay for me definitely better, but I think I cannot put it higher than on the top of the A tier. Yeah, I will put it kind of at the top of the A tier. Let's see it later on. At the moment, Balanced Druid is very strong, as you can see it here. And as you can see it also here added A tier, and here's the third best spec. Here as well, third best spec. I have to be honest, I think it could be the same at the end of phase 4, but I think in the first few weeks of phase 4, it will be not the case for Balanced Druid, because usually they are a little bit better in fast-paced fights when the boss fight is shorter than longer. Kind of the same I would say about Unholy Decay, so I will put them around the same. Definitely not S tier at the beginning, later on definitely, but yeah. Feral Druid, nah, I think for me even C tier, definitely no recommendation, but yeah. Hunter in general, not the best class maybe in complete Cataclysm, but we have at least one spec that is kind of on the higher rankings, but Beastmaster and Marksman are definitely not there. They will stay around the bottom, but let's see later on how it will figure out. Survival Hunter could be different. I think Survival Hunter could be kind of A tier again, so pretty good spec. Then we have the Arcane Mage. Arcane Mage, let's make it easy. Fire Mage is so good that it makes kind of no sense to play any other spec. If I would have to rank Arcane Mage, I think I would rank it at the end of the B tier, so it's a decent spec, not more, not less. And yeah, kind of the same I could say about Frost Mage, but I rank it a little bit lower as Arcane Mage, so it just makes no sense. Fire Mage is the next one, and Fire Mage is, I think, from day 1 to the last day, the best spec in Cataclysm, and it will stay there on top of the list, in my opinion. Sure, we have some pretty good contenders like Elemental Shaman, Warlock, especially Demo Warlock, maybe Rogue with the new weapons, maybe Arms Warrior, but at the end of the day, I definitely think we will Fire Mage will stay on top of this list. Next one is Retribution Paladin. It is here a little bit more at the end of the list here as well. I think putting it in the B tier is definitely fine. It is a decent good spec. Not something very impressive, but you can definitely have 1 or 2 in your raid without struggling. Same I would say about Shadow Priest, but I think I would rank Shadow Priest kind of at the top of the B tier. It's definitely a pretty good one. I think maybe even Shadow Priest could be at the end of A tier as well, so just to make that clear. Assassination Rogue is struggling right now. I think Sub Rogue will come out at the top again from all the rogue specs. I'm not sure how the legendary daggers at the end will change things for Rogue. Definitely they will change something in the positive, but also here you have to have them before you can use them. So it's hard to say. I think Assassination Rogue will be a decent B tier spec. Same for Combat Rogue. I think they will be kind of close together, like they were all the time, mostly in in Cataclysm. And then we have something interesting, Sub Rogue, as I already mentioned about the legendary daggers. I think Sub Rogue will benefit from them the most, and I think that could bring Sub Rogue finally to the S tier. Again, you need the daggers, so it's maybe not fair that on some specs I say like, yeah, but they are better at the end of the tier, and you could say this is kind of the same thing for the rogues because they need the daggers. But I think it makes it a little bit interesting, and I mean, at least I let it know to you. So next one, Elemental Shaman, is very strong right now. It's pretty close to Mage, if in total damage. Here is now damage at all. If you go damage just to bosses, it changes a little bit, as you can see here. So Elemental Shaman is here doing not that good, but it's always hard to say what you think is more important, damage to bosses, damage overall. So yeah, I'm struggling to say Elemental Shaman is one of the best specs, but at the end of the day it is one of the best specs right now, and that's why I keep it in the S tier. Next one is Affliction Warlock. It could be a little bit better doing in the next tier than in this tier and this tier right now, but I still think it's not much better than just middle of the pack. Maybe a little bit on the top of the middle of the pack, but yeah, nothing special. Next one, Demon Warlock. Demon Warlock is scaling pretty nice through all Cataclysm. It's getting stronger and stronger. It is pretty close right now to the top specs. Fire Mage, Elemental Shaman, Balanced Druid, Alms Warrior, and I think this journey will continue. I even think Demon Warlock could become on the second of the list. And then we have Destruction Warlock. Destruction Warlock is kind of the same as Affliction Warlock. Not a big difference at all. That leads us to Warrior. Warrior, scaling. Now we're coming at the end of the day to the last phase, the last days of Cataclysm. And can Warriors come out on top? I don't think so. I think the top of the hill will be again Fire Mage. But I think Warriors have a chance to come out second. So I think it could be... maybe I should do it like this, because I think it could be a race between those four. I don't know exactly how good, now in the modern art of Cataclysm, how good the rogues will be with the daggers. Demon Warlock is doing quite well, but I think they will stay behind Fire Mage. And yeah, Warriors, you know how good they can scale. The gear gets better and better. We're coming now to the end game of Cataclysm, so I think they can definitely challenge Fire Mage. And then last and kind of the least is Fury Warrior. Fury Warrior is one of the worst specs in Cataclysm. They will not change a lot about it. So if you see this list now, this is my prediction for Phase 4, Dragon Soul Raid, and Deathwing and all those things. So we're also getting 3 new dungeons. So what you can see is at least every class have a decent spec that is minimum in the B tier. For example, Hunter, you could go survival if you really want to play Hunter, but you want to be also a top DPS. Mage, I don't have to tell you, and so on and so on and so on. So I think what could be interesting is seeing the development of Elemental Shaman and Balanced Druid, the development of rogues with the daggers, and then will Fire Mage stay on top of the list? I think those are the interesting things that we are looking forward for to see. And yeah, when the raid is coming out, I guess let's wait 1 or 2 weeks. Maybe I will make a little bit more detailed list moving forward in the next 1 or 2 weeks when we have an exact announcement. But at the moment, that's it for today, guys. Have a good one. See you. Bye bye.